All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to do section 4.2. It is chapter 5, so we're on our 5th test, but it's going to be chapter 4, section 2. So remember that when you're looking at your books, okay? And we're still working on these major skills in chapter 5. All right, so today what we're going to do, and we're going to use this a lot, so star this, circle it, make a note on this. We're going to use this stuff a lot. It says which ordered pair is a solution, right? So the -2 is our x in the ordered pair, and the 3 is your y, right? So all we're going to do is we're going to take this equation and we're going to plug those numbers in and see if they work. If you remember hands-on equations that we did, okay, they're supposed to work, right? So I'm going to take the equation, and when you do your homework, I'm going to ask you to please write down the original equation. I'm going to take out the x and I'm going to put in -2. I'm going to take out the y and put 3, and it equals 8. So minus and negative is a chop, right? So we're going to do that. So I'm going to write 2 plus, what's 2 times 3? 6 equals 8, and 2 plus 6 is 8. So 8 equals 8, and it's a check. You go, well, Mrs. Mevick, what's going on? What do you mean it's a solution? Okay, this is what this means. I've got an equation here, correct? Okay, this equation, if I graphed it, would be a line. Okay? When an ordered pair is a solution to this, what that means is this ordered pair, this dot, is on the line. So it is a solution, it's on that line. Okay? Let's go down and look at the next ordered pair. Again, this is my x comma y. I'm going to write my original problem down when I do my homework. I'm going to write in 4. Order of operations has me do what first? Multiply. So I get -1. And 4 plus -1 is 3. So 3 equals 5. Is that a solution? No, that is a no solution. So it's asking me, the question actually says, which ordered pair is a solution to the equation? So, yes, that's a solution. Here is no, okay? And so if I were going, well, what's really going on with this situation? Well, my equation would again form a line, but this dot isn't on that line. It's off. It could be on either side. That's immaterial. The main idea is it's not a solution to that equation. It's not on that line. Okay. Questions? All right, we do see this a lot, so just kind of FYI. All right, so this asks me to graph the equation. So the first thing that I'm going to do on these, and I like to solve for y first, just because we're going to use it later, and I find it's a little bit easier. What we're going to do is I need to solve for y. So if I have the equation x plus y equals 4, okay? If I want y by himself, he wants to be on one side of the equation, he wants to be away from people, he wants to go in his room and shut the door, okay? What do we want to get rid of? Yes. I want to get rid of x. X is that little brother or sister that constantly comes in your room, you know, and you're like, get out of my room, right? How do I get rid of x? Yes.
Didn't you add x's to both sides?
I'm going to subtract it. If there's no sign in front of it, it's assumed it's a positive. So I'm going to subtract x from each side. Okay, and I get y equals, now, some students will go 4 minus x. I don't like that. I want x to come first, because eventually what happens is It's going to be in the form y equals mx plus b. I'm not going to graph it that way yet, but I'm leading to that. Okay? That's going to be in the next couple of days. So I'm going to put minus x, and then is 4 positive or negative? It's positive, so I'm going to go plus 4. So all of your equations solve for y. So you should have y equals the x and a number. Okay? Now, once I've got that taken care of, I'm going to make a table. And I'm going to use the same H table as before. So I'm going to put x, I'm going to go y equals negative x plus 4, and I'm going to go y. So one of the new things that we're doing today is I'm solving for x. I'm getting x by itself, or y by itself. I'm solving for y. Okay, now I'm making a table. Before, when I made a table, they gave me something when I made a table. What did they give me? Yes. They gave me the numbers for the variable what? X. Right. So they said it was 1, it was 2, it was 3, it was 4, right? Did they give me numbers? They gave me no numbers. They didn't give me any domain. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. You get to choose your numbers. But I'm going to be kind of picky. I want a negative number, I want a neutral number like 0, and I want a positive number. Okay? And I want 3. You've got to have 3. So I'm going to take out one of the easier negative numbers. I'm going to put in negative 1. And you're going to have this for the rest of the year. So y equals negative 1, right? Or minus 1. So I do my chop, right? So y equals what? 5. Draw my line. Have we done y tables or h tables before? Yeah. Then I'm going to plug in 0. Y equals negative 0 plus 4. What do I get? 4. Draw my line. Then I'm going to put in a 1. Y equals negative 1 plus 4. What do I get? I get 3. Now, you could put in negative 2, 0, and 2, negative 3, 0, and 3. Okay, you can do that. I want 1 negative, 1 neutral, which is 0, and 1 positive. I tend to like negative 1, 0, and 1 because my numbers don't get too big. That's why I do it. Okay? And you want to make sure that you show all your work in your tables. All right, now, it says plot the points and connect the line. Let's talk about that. We're going to go to our x and y axes. This is my x. This is my y. Again, you need to darken in your axes. I have graph paper for you if you want to use that. Again, use a highlighter or marker to get that dark. All right. What was our first ordered pair? Negative 1 what?
5.
5. So negative 1, 5. It's right there. And then I have 0, 4, and then I have 1, 3. Notice that this forms a line, yes? If it doesn't form a line, I messed up, right? I made a mistake. Now, the directions tell you to connect the dots. And we're going to do that. I'm going to connect these dots, and I'm going to draw a line, or an arrow, I should say, on either side. Now, answer this question for me. We're drawing the line through all those dots, correct? Mm-hmm. Why? What's different about this problem that we didn't have before?
They gave you the number, so you didn't put a line, but this time you put your own number, so you did.
That is correct. When they give you the numbers, don't connect the dots, because they're asking you to look at just that number. They could care less what goes on between. When you choose your numbers, I can choose any number I want. I could choose 1/2, I could choose 3/4, I could choose 1, I could choose 1,000,000. So that's why I connect the dots, and there's a ton of dots in between all those dots. So like between the first couple of dots that we did, there's like, I don't know, 50,000 dots between them, you know, because it can get small, 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 small. So I'm including all of those numbers when I draw my line. And you want to make sure you put arrows on either end. Okay. Questions? Perfect. All right. Let's move on. All right. Now, this is going to happen in geometry. And kids get really confused on it because they're like, whoa, I don't know how to do this. This is super scary. Okay? The first one is y equals -3. Let's go to our graph for just a minute. I'm going to put my x, and I'm going to put my y, and it was y equals -3, right? Okay, so I'm going to put a dot where y equals -3. It's right here. Okay? I don't need to make a table on these. Right? Y is always -3. So when I get something like this, I'm going to go against the y-axis, and I'm going to draw a horizontal line with an arrow. This is y equals -3. Done. So you just find it on the axis, and don't go with the axis, go against it. And this is a horizontal line. We're going to see this again. So circle it, highlight it. This chapter is buku important, like amazing important. That's why I'm cutting it in 2 pieces. Okay, so if I go back, the y equals -3, you're going to place the dot and draw a horizontal line. It's not hard. The kids get it confused all the time. They wake up, they're like, oh, it's just y equals whatever. Okay. Right? Now let's go to the next one. The next one says x equals 2. So I'm going to go on my graph and I'm going to find where x is 2. It's right here. And I'm not going to go on the x-axis. I'm going to go the other way. So I'm going to draw a, what kind of line? Vertical. I'm going to draw a vertical line. So I'm going to go the opposite direction. So again, place the dot. And draw a vertical line. Okay, and that kind of tells you down here. Key concept. Main idea. All right, and that gets us to day 2. Now, before I do day 2, I want to go over one more example for you. Let's say I got an equation like 2x plus 4y equals 16. Okay? And I want to solve for what again? Y. How do I get y by itself? What do I do? Yes?
Subtract 2x.
Yep. Good. Subtract 2x from both sides because I want to get that pesky brother or sister out of your room, right? So my leftover on the left-hand side is 4y equals what? Good, minus 2x plus 16. Now, is y by itself yet? It is not. So I got to kind of peel it like an onion. I subtract or add first. Now what do I do? Yes. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Notice how I do my lines. It's underneath all of the right-hand side. So y equals, now it affects both the -2 and the 16 because it's under both of them, okay? So I'm going to look at the first half and I'm going to go -2 over 4x. See that? And then I'm going to go plus, and I'm going to go 16 over 4. Now I'm going to reduce. Y equals, what's -2 over 4? It's going to be -1/2 x. Never, ever, ever put a decimal for the number in front of x. Ever. I'll call it wrong. Okay? And you'll see why later. The number in front of the x has to be a fraction, like this over this. Not a mixed number, but an actual fraction. We got rise over run, or the x over or the y over the x. And then plus 4. Very good. Now some kids asked me earlier, Mrs. Medvick, if I can see the reduced right away, do I have to do this step? And my answer is no, you don't have to do that step. But you had better be right. If you're going to reduce, reduce correctly. Otherwise, do it the way I did it on the overhead. Are there any questions on this? Do you remember doing this last year? No. No? Okay, so this is something different. So it's going to be a little, that's why I'm taking it in 2 parts. And if you don't get how to do this, then we do the second part, you're going to have problems. So we want to make sure that you understand it. All right, that's it for today, and we'll go ahead and start looking at the assignment.